What's up, Exiles? It's Hegemony, and it's time to review yet another character. This one is HegeNoScopes. This one is my COC Tornado Shot Ranger. We have gone over a lot of the synergies and the mechanics of this character in other videos. I'll go ahead and link that in the description below. But I mainly wanted to go over the changes that this character has received since you've last seen me. I think we were at 84, now we are at level 90. So our main change to this build has the interaction of frenzy charges now affecting it. I'm able to generate them now through Doder's Elixir and Restless Ward. Restless Ward increases the endurance, frenzy, and power charge duration. It also gives me movement speed, so it helps me facilitate all my charges. And what this frenzy charge interaction allows me to do is utilize this quad notable area to use inspired learning. It reads, if 4 notables are allocated in the radius, when you kill a rare monster, you gain one of its mods for 20 seconds. This is kind of like the Headhunter, only the Headhunter gives you all of the rare mods properties for 20 seconds. This one gives you one of them, and it is random. So it's a fun way to be able to steal auras and buffs, get critical damage bonuses, accuracy, regen, all those kinds of cool things, and it makes the character a very momentum-based character, in addition to having the charges. Another area of the tree that we explored was jewels. We picked up the projectile damage nodes near acrobatics to get that jewel, and in addition we picked up the jewel above Blood Drinker because it helped with the int problem that we were having, and it now allows me to run a level 21 spell based off of 159 int. It requires 155 int to max out a level 20 spell. Now that I've met the int requirements for a level 21, it allows me to vol my spells and hope that I get a level 21 and still be able to use it. We are a dex based character and int is not very easy to get, but utilizing the 2 int nodes next to this jewel, int from cold-hearted calculation, int from trickery, we do get some help on the tree in addition to primal spirit. So chancing the Restless Ward, it took me 560 the first time, and the second time it only took me like 21. I did this twice in the Tempest League. I just bought white carnal armors, or I actually used the divination card, changed that bind, and I got lucky and I got a carnal armor white base, and then I bought another rare carnal armor for I think what it was 4 exalts, and I just scoured chance the crap out of it, and it only took me 21 because it's a very common unique. It shouldn't be too hard to chance, so I highly recommend that if this is the route you're going. As far as where we're going now to progress, we could get the 1 life node above thick skin. It's not that great, it's okay at best. We're at 5.6k HP. I would like to get the starter attack speed node at Ranger, and then I can consider picking up the life node above thick skin. After that, probably picking up a frenzy charge with frenetic, and then possibly moving down towards this duelist area, getting a jewel socket and Golem's blood and life, and that'll probably be it for the build. I could also pick up savagery if I'm really wanting it. Let's go over the potential change for the weapon. I have Fireball, Ice Spear, Barrage, Cast on Crit, Arctic Breath in a single target. The quality on these aren't really needed. They don't really add too much because when I'm single targeting I don't really get that many buffs from it. But a possible 6th link, which is always asked on stream, is crit damage, life leech, another spell like Arc to get shocks. Honestly, I feel like Wind Ripper and Herald of Thunder is enough just with the arrow damage to shock when you're using single targets because it's not watered down. You could use GMP to add more projectiles, like as far as quantity of projectiles per second. I really haven't had a 6-link Wind Ripper to do any proper testing with it, but for a hardcore league I'd probably stick with Life Leech. And for my chest piece, I'm still using Arctic Breath, Tornado Shot, Cast on Critical Strike, Greater Multiple Projectiles, Fireball, and Ball Lightning. And in a previous video, I did a visual display of the differences between using Ball Lightning and Arc. And basically the idea is using projectile damage all over the tree, which scales my ball lightning because it is considered a projectile. Arc does great damage, and it does good things when your packs aren't as big and enemies are close, or there are enemies to chain one another. However, ball lightning hits all over the screen and can even initiate the next pack with shock stacks. And we also can't forget that ball lightning is 100% pierce, so it'll go over, you know, an infinite amount of targets and keep on trucking. So that is one reason why I really like ball lightning. It's a little deceiving on the tooltip, but that's because ball lightning is more or less a spherical turret that goes across the map, but it's excellent for this build. As far as jewelry goes, you don't need any uniques. You can just use life, crit chance, crit multiplier on an amulet like the one I'm using. Int is kind of important. You'll need to get that somewhere, otherwise you'll end up having to spend it on 30 int nodes on the tree, and you want to get to that 159 or 155 int number so that you can sustain your spells at high levels. Mana is beneficial because it increases your max mana and it increases your mana regen, which will be important. Life gain on hit jewels, those are very important. I think you can run the build easily just off of 2. You'll notice that I have 1 jewel that has 7 life, crit chance. When you get global crit, it'll scale the projectile and the spell. You want the tornado shot to crit often enough, and then even then you still want to put that elemental damage from your Wind Ripper or Herald of Thunder, and you want that to scale, because why not? I mean, ultimately the arrow is usually the first thing to hit a target before the spell, and if you can get that preemptive shock or that preemptive freeze on a low HP target, you're going to get the quantity and rarity bonuses of your Wind Ripper. And speaking of Wind Ripper, a lot of people ask me, can this be done with any other bow? And yes, you could do this with a Doomfletch. I highly recommend Doomfletch. It comes with 60 mana regen, which also helps sustain when you do miss and you have low accuracy. You only suffer through about 14% crit chance after buffs, and it has very comparable attack speeds. You could also do it with a Harbinger with LE damage or attack speed. Just attack speed and crit chance are the most important features. Wind Ripper is just icing on the cake. It's not too expensive these days, especially with the rarity being bumped. I think when I purchased mine, I purchased it 6-socketed with no links for 4.5 exalts. It wasn't too bad considering they went for 8 to 10 exalts in previous challenge leagues. You'll notice that I'm not using anything that's unique other than my Itsiri step. That also helps you deal with reflection, gives you high amounts of evasion since we are scaling it through Survivalist, Revenge of the Hunted Wheel, the starter ranger nodes, and the dexterity that we do have. Our energy shield gets cuts in half. We have a total of 235. It's still nice. It still refills. It's some health. And it's not like we're running Blood Rage so that it's always degen. And it also helps with some stun avoidance. On a budget, you can make this character for about 2 exalts. Getting a Tabula Rasa is totally doable, but the frenzy charges don't really become a reality until you get Goad Rays and Restless Ward. We're not running Ice Bite or anything like that. We are using Grace as a defensive aura because we don't really need to scale anything else. And that is worth considering when comparing the two. You ask, well, Hege, you have a Wind Ripper, why not just go LE crit split? And in my opinion, this is a more tankier version and more defensive version of a Wind Ripper build, because we're constantly putting out Arctic Breath, Chilled Ground everywhere, and we're not as susceptible to LE reflection like a crit split or LE tornado shot build would be. So being able to run Grace and having 17 to 18k evasion on top of having Chilled Ground and frozen targets, and overall I think that has a lot of value in hardcore leagues. And as for upgrades and gear, I would say as far as uniques go, probably Taste of Hate. That is an excellent mitigation flask for any evasion or non-armor based user. I mean, it's good for everybody, but it really shines with an armorless character. Allows me to get that Physmit through my cold resistance. And as far as if you wanted to play this on softcore, what would you do differently with uniques? I'd probably use a rat's nest that gives you movement speed, crit chance, attack speed, all great for COC and has high evasion. And for gloves, Malagaros seem to be the obvious choice. If you don't have Malagaros, you could consider using face breakers, but in hardcore leagues you really want the life, resist, chaos res, and high amounts of evasion so that you can stay alive. As for the belt, strength is really good to get because that's also one of your off stats. You do want to be able to level your other gems like Enduring Cry, Increased Duration, but it's not that hard. You could opt to run Rallying Cry to boost your damage and mana regen, which is a great option. I just chose Enduring Cry because it gives me that burst life regen, kind of like mini potting in a sticky situation so that I don't have to use one of my instant flasks. And to go over them really quickly, I ended up opting for Panic Divine Flask of Staunching for that double utility, the heal over time and then the instant on low. And then I went for a Seething Divine Flask of Grounding and Surgeon Quicksilver Flask of Warning for my Shake Off the Curse Flask. And as for jewels, I would highly recommend that you get stuff with life, mana gain on hit, global critical strike chance, and I would highly recommend you get bow attack speed. And lastly, let's go over the gems real quick. In my helmet, I have Curse on hit, Assassin's Mark, Herald of Thunder, and Blind. Blind is a nice bonus. It's not really needed. If you're having mana problems, I would suggest putting Mana Leech in here. So Blind is just another layer of defense. It's not very reliable, but when it does happen, it works really well. As far as my series step, I have Increased Duration, Vol Haste, Vol Grace, and Enduring Cry. It is worth noting that running double Vol auras takes quite a bit of a ramp up time, but I also don't use Vol Grace that much. Honestly, I might use it once or twice in a map, sometimes not even. So after you can get through the first couple of packs, it's pretty much just there in case you need it. Say in case a Beyond monster spawns or an Exile with scary damage mods appears. Vol Haste is kind of used and abused whenever I feel like it. And for my gloves, I have Grace, Fortify, Assassin's Mark, and Summon Ice Golem. Fortify works with Ice Golem pretty well, keeps him alive, and I have him on ease in case I need to resummon him at any given moment. In regards to map mods, it can do any map mod. I don't recommend Ellie Reflection because that will probably end up in your death. But you can do Blood Magic, no regen, and any other mods just fine. And I will reiterate, if you guys need any help with the earlier stages of this character and its gear progression, I have other videos at lower levels with different items, and you can learn how you can do this in a 1-month league or a 10th league and have a lot of fun with it. And lastly, I'll give you guys some gameplay that you can watch and see how the character runs. Thank you guys for watching. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. What's up, everybody? It's time for some gameplay. Here we have a shipyard with desecrated ground. Area contains totems, more rare monsters, lightning damage, and boss haste. This is a shipyard. Let's go. Here you can see my crit chance is 71.64 with NATO shot. Sorry, I stand corrected. I'm at 74.25 crit chance. I didn't have my Chaos Brolem out. Or not my Chaos Brolem, my Ice Brolem. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys later.